Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, or should I say, Darth Counselor. That's right, Darth Counselor is returning because I told you so. I just want to talk about how much I have spoken and criticized, and people have been, Mr. Gaming Counselor, you're so, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about this. It was so long ago. I made videos after videos talking about the economy, talking about microtransactions, talking about how they are just throwing the ball. Literally, Bungie throwing the ball. And people just wrote it off and like, oh no, Bungie could do no wrong. And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The true side of Bungie. That's right. Darth Counselor here to tell you I was right. You were wrong. And now it's all your fault that all these bad things are happening to people. Now, that's what some people are going to say when we get into the details. You'll understand in a minute. I don't actually believe that, but there are going to be people who are like, oh, this is your fault because you wanted people to stop playing the game. So today we're doing a react. I have asked across again. I promise I'm going to link the video. It's supplemental mostly because I know we need to stick to a script, and he's got the script and he's got all the information this time around, because yesterday was me just scrounging all information. I want all the information, and there was a lot of information that was just kind of thrown out there and I missed it. In fact, the information about more layoffs after I'd posted my video that blew me away. So let's just jump right into it, right?
An article on Bloomberg recently posted by Jason Schreir.
A new one, right? This is a second one. There was already one, but now there's another one. So we're reviewing the second one. More information has come out. Again, Bungie has not said anything at all. In fact, most of their PR team is gone. Most of the people who did like the Twitter, all that, they're gone. They are literally on fire right now. And no one is saying anything.
Sony's Bungie game unit cut 8% of staff after Destiny play wilted.
8% of staff after Destiny play wilted. Yes, so that's because you made product that was bad. And this goes into Lightfall. Lightfall literally may have had great sales. Like, it's the best selling. That's because people bought into it, expecting it. Hey, this is going to be a great game expansion for the game. And that turned out not to be the case. And what happens when you trick or betray someone who's loyal to you? They're not going to give you their time nor their money. And it's what I've been saying to the Destiny community. Don't speak with your money and your time.
8%. It goes on to say that sales at the studio were running 45% below projections for year. And layoffs.
45%. That is bad. That's almost 50%. They did 50% worse. And that is 100% why PlayStation sent down the pipes. You've got to dismiss. You got to save some cash.
Are part of a bigger revamp at Sony PlayStation units. Now, Bungie's decision to cut an estimated 100 jobs from its staff.
100 people. We thought it was a couple people here and there. Literally 100 people lost their jobs.
Of about 1,200 followed dire management warnings earlier this month of a sharp drop in popularity of its flagship video game Destiny 2. Just 2 weeks ago, executives at the Sony-owned game developer told employees that revenue was running 45% below projections for the year, according to people who attended the meeting. Chief Executive Officer
2 weeks ago, you're like, hey guys, we're not hitting the mark. The mark that we, management, have set expectations. We expected the players to eat the crap that we throw out. We expected them to throw their money at us blindly like they have in years past, even though we have done nothing to rectify the decisions we made in the past that have brought down trust in us. We've done nothing to change that. Microtransactions, pump those numbers up. Innovating the game, we don't need to innovate that. We'll do that after the final expansion when Destiny's pretty much dead. We'll innovate later. What's that? You want seasons to be changed? Nah, we'll just do a different thing after the final expansion comes out. So yeah. Okay.
P. Parsons pinned the big miss on weak player retention for Destiny 2, which has faced a poor reception since the release of its latest expansion, Lightfall.
Because Lightfall was trash. Oh my god. Why are people don't like game? People don't like game? We buy game, or we make game, but they don't buy. Why they no play? Because it's trash. Season of Defiance, trash. All the other seasons were very trash to mid. Like, even this season is so much better in, like, the aesthetic. It's better in the fact that the guns are kind of cool, even though most of them are mid, except for, like, one gun, the fusion rifle. We also had the raid, which you take away the raid, the season itself is very mid. It's very mid, and people are tired. So, yes, you're throwing out slop. All the best stuff is in your shop. Like cosmetics, all these things that if you put in the game, which most games do, it retains players a little bit longer because they have something to chase. Chase is a big thing. That's a big problem. Like Diablo 4 is they didn't have anything to chase because they put all their cosmetics. And now they're like, oh, we're going to let you chase Ubers instead of cosmetics. We're going to give you the best things easier. Live service games are bad, except for like Warframe. It's solid, man. It's good. Check it out. But the point is here is Lightfall was a flaming turd. The seasons have been flaming. It's been a just nosedive. So yes, player opinion on the game is low. You've been scummy. You've lied. You deceived people. Of course, they're not going to put trust and faith in Bungie. And this is only going to kill it more.
Next expansion, the final shape, was getting good, not great feedback.
Yeah, getting great feedback is because this is the final shape. People who are probably watching it or playing it, probably, you know what? This doesn't look like a good final chapter. This doesn't seem like, let's say, Forsaken, which is what I said. If it doesn't meet that expectation, it's going to flop. Or at least it's going to be bare minimal, all right. But it's never going to meet the expectations that we, the gamers, have for a final hurrah. And so, yes, of course, it's getting good feedback, but not great feedback because it's not big. You set expectations with the community with your little leak of how you've been telling employees not to set the bar too high. You're creating patterns. Over delivery is bad. No, you need to over deliver. And the fact that you're not is the reason why no one has faith in you.
And management told those present that they plan to push back the release to June 2024 from February, according to the people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to speak publicly. The additional time would give developers a chance to improve the product. Now keep in mind, guys, this meeting happened 2 weeks ago. So
2 weeks.
This is after the reveal of the final shape.
And that's got to be bad PR. And I can understand why PlayStation's they're upset. They're like, You're what? You just did this whole release. People have pre-ordered the game, and now you're going to delay it? Delays never look good, especially for PlayStation, who's competing actively against Xbox now, like really trying hard. Yeah, this doesn't look good for PlayStation, and it doesn't look good for Bungie.
And a lot of us were wondering, had Bungie planned on pushing back the final shape during the reveal? And my thought process was, no. You can definitely tell, like the entire vibe of Bungie was that they were rounding the corner and putting the polish on that expansion. At least that's how I perceived it. Now, in the meantime,
that or it was being rushed. What you were having was workers being rushed to get it done, and expectations internally couldn't be met because they were trying to set expectations too high too soon. And it was going to be a train wreck if they didn't slow the wheels and give people more time to breathe.
Parsons told staff that Bungie would be cutting costs, such as for travel, as well as implementing salary and hiring freezes. The people said everyone would have to work together to weather the storm, he said, leaving employees feeling determined to do whatever was needed to get revenue back up.
Yeah, because no one's buying your trash can microtransactions. Like, people are speaking with their wallets. This is what happens when you speak with your wallets. Now, the spin is going to be, this is our fault, the consumer. This is our fault. Though you hear Mr. Parsons, oh man, I'm so sad that they're been let go. You need to hire them. This guy is feeding the employees trash, and then he's trying to feed us trash. He's lying. He's deceiving. This is 100% that douchebag's fault.
But on Monday morning, the news got worse.
So that he told them, and then not even too long ago, it's like, hey, by the way, I lied. You're getting fired. Bye.
Dozens of staffers woke up to mysterious 15-minute meetings that had been placed on their calendars, which they soon learned were part of a mass layoff. Bungie laid off around 8% of its employees, according to documentation reviewed by Bloomberg. Bungie didn't respond to requests for comment. Now, employees...
I wonder why, because no one there can actually comment for them, because half their team is, like, not even half, but 8% of the team is gone.
Who were let go will receive at least 3 months of severance and 3 months of Bungie paid Cobra health insurance, although other benefits such as expense reimbursement ended Monday, sending some staff racing to submit the receipts.
Dude, I can only imagine how could we stop to really think about how these people, you show up to work and you find out that your best friend or your coworker, and you know them, you've had dinner with them, their family, they're great. They just got thrown on the street. They got kicked out, and they're rushing to try to get as much out of it as they can. And you're looking around, you're seeing people you worked with for maybe years, and they're just being tossed into the trash can. Dude, I can, as a counselor, and this is not Darth counselor, this is a counselor here. Can we like really feel empathetic, like really feel the fear and the frustration that these people have to be feeling? Not just the people that are laid off. Obviously, they're lost, right? I can only imagine how I would feel. And that's why I'm glad I got out of a business model and I work for public service, which has its own issues on its own. I chose my poison, right? We all have to choose our poison. But this is the poison of business. And I hate scumbag corporate. I hate it. And this is why. Because it's always the little people who are tossed into the trash. God. It's not even like the final shape. Not only do I have concerns for it, I feel like even the employees have to be tired. We as a community are tired of Bungie, but I feel like the employees in Bungie are also tired of Bungie. And obviously, they're never going to say anything openly. That's why these people are doing it who have been let off or haven't been let off. Or saying it anonymously because they want to say the truth. Because if you do say the truth, you're obviously on the chopping block. Because Bungie's not telling us the truth. They're not giving us the truth. They will never give us the truth. And I'm glad someone is. This is the true Bungie. The Bungie we loved from Halo, the small company that grew and made Halo and became something big. Well, it's even too big for, apparently, people who've been there for 20 years.
Now, laid-off staffers will also receive prorated bonuses, although those were on a vesting schedule following Sony's Groups Corp's acquisition of Bungie in January 2022, and will lose any shares that weren't vested as of next month. Now, the layoffs are part of a large money-saving initiative at Sony's PlayStation unit, which has also cut employees at studios such as Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, and San Mateo Office. TD Cohen analyst Doug Kreutz wrote in a report Monday that events over the last few days lead us to believe that PlayStation is undergoing a restructuring. My God, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, when you have all these companies that you buy, especially like we know that PlayStation is trying to compete with Xbox. So when you have all these different studios in your umbrella that are delaying games, it looks bad. It looks bad for physical, like for your shareholders. It looks bad to the community of PlayStation community, and it looks just bad in the gaming verse anyways. Like everyone is looking at PlayStation versus Xbox because people are stupid and buy into the whole console wars. And this is what happens. People people are punished. And it's never the people in charge. It's never. It's always the little guys.
8%? Now, PlayStation President Jim Ryan announced last month that he plans to resign. And many of the
I wonder
layoffs
why.
at Bungie affected the company's support departments, such as community management and publishing. Remaining Bungie staff were informed that some of these areas will be outsourced moving forward. Now, guys, this article is a big deal because it just gives us some context to what is happening at Bungie internally. We have been speculating. We even pulled Fallout into the stream yesterday, and we speculated. Expecting pre-orders to do much better. But if you remember, even though the reveal was hype and everyone was enjoying the final shape and seeing what's to come, you didn't have that luxury that Lightfall's reveal had. Everybody was hyped because of how good of an expansion the Witch Queen was. You didn't have to talk us into buying Lightfall.
No, and before he continues, that's exactly what it is. No one's buying the final shape because no one's getting debated. I mean, I did because I have Stockholm Syndrome, right? I've got to finish it out. One way or another, the final shape is going to be the final for me. Like that's my plan. I'm going to play some episodes just to see if maybe we get Copium, the final raid remake. But I doubt it. But I'm gonna throw my money into the fire. Why not, right? And of course. All right, I'm back. As I was saying before I had to go get my food, yeah, people are not going to buy into the final shape after Lightfall. They're not going to be betrayed. And I don't know what they expected to happen. And when I first saw the final shape trailer, I wasn't really wowed. I wasn't. I was more wowed about the Season of the Witch because I was like, oh, this looks good. And it was good from aesthetic-wise and from a lore point-wise. It was awesome. I love the dialogue. I always do. The season itself is still very mid. And most people just weren't wowed. And there was the momentum. Even new players weren't impressed with the game. You had people that from live streams, like actual Twitch streamers, high-numbered Twitch streamers who are streaming, and they see this pile of crap that's Lightfall. Well, they're not going to stick around because their streamer's not sticking around because their streamer's disappointed. So yeah, I wonder why, Bungie.
We just came off of a banger expansion, so of course we were going to break out our wallets and get Lightfall. But since Lightfall launched, the reception was not good for that expansion. There were some good things that did come in Lightfall, but it was far from that Infinity War experience. Now, I can tell you right now, not only has...
Yeah, that's what's funny. They likened the Lightfall campaign, and they said that we want to do like an Infinity War endgame. Like, Lightfall was supposed to be Infinity War, and endgame was the final conclusion. I never once felt Infinity War levels. I never felt threat. Let's get... The Witness took a backseat. He literally took a backseat. We didn't interact with him at all. All we fought was Cabal and Callus, which is what we've done for the past years. Granted, not Callus specifically, his robot, but what I'm saying is there was no like, oh... There was the we lost factor of Infinity War, but my God, there was nothing else.
Revenue missed here, but I would say just my analysis of the community. Lots of folks aren't really playing Destiny right now. You can even...
No, and the numbers are down. He's showing us the numbers. No one's playing Destiny because there's not that there's necessarily nothing to do. It's just there's no reason to do it. There's no real chase. You get the God rolls. Okay, what do you do with the God rolls? You do endgame. Okay, what do you do for endgame? You get the God rolls. Okay, so you get God rolls to go do endgame to get the God rolls. What do you do with that? You go into PvP. Okay, why do you do PvP? It's fun. Is it? Oh, well, you do the endgame PvP. Okay, well, or why do I do that? To get the guns. Okay, well, I've got the guns. What do I do now? I don't know. Go back to the end game and use the PvP guns that you got from the end game PvP to the end game PvE. That's the thing. Like, obviously, that's the problem with live services. You can make the argument, but I feel like there needs to be more like chase. and it will never be chased. It's there's going to be casual stuff. But I feel like if you took away from the microtransactions and you put more into the game, I think people would play more. If you're telling me I can chase ornaments in game, have it. I don't care if it has exotic. Like, that's the thing. People want something to chase. They complain about exotics. Make exotic ornaments as rare as D1. And I'm talking about make these bangers. Give them special effects like trials glows. Give these special effects that are just, you have to grind and you hope to see it. I would do it. It would give me something to chase. Especially if I could show it off and people knew that I had that shader or that exotic that no one else has. I'm the 1%ers. Sure, who cares? Will they ever do that? No. It's money.
Even take a look at Google Trends and see, outside, of course, what's happening now, all
what else?
Talk about putting a damper on morale. The other thing that I'm sitting there scratching my head about is that if you need to get an expansion out by February, why cut staff? And I know the staff positions they did cut
because it's Bungie.
Don't really cut into the development cycle. So maybe these are truly positions Bungie felt they needed to trim. But missing 45% on revenue, that is certainly sending panic both through Bungie and through Sony. Now,
yeah, because they spent billion and this company is failing. Yeah, that doesn't make a good impression. You just bought them and they're doing bad numbers. Again, this is a Destiny management issue.
A couple of tweets I want us to go over real quick, and this was actually posted by Paul earlier, just to kind of give us a little more context here. Starting with this first tweet. The layoff decisions came directly from Bungie.
I'm just going to read it myself to cut through some time. The layoff decision came directly from Bungie management, not Sony. This is not about Sony replacing Bungie employees with their own. So, 100% Bungie, Pete Parson is the dude. People were like, oh, well, maybe it's PlayStation. He had no choice. My dude literally had the gall to talk about, you need to hire these people. They're so great. If they're so great, why did you get rid of them? Why couldn't you consolidate them? Your decisions impacted the lives of others. This is 100% Bungie. Many employee benefits, though not health insurance, only last until the end of the month. If you're let go, laying off on the 30th means a single additional day of coverage, meaning no more money. Bye-bye. So long. Sorry. This is all corporate BS. It's to save money on the corporate leaderboard, right? That's all it is. And so the people who suffer the most are the people. Many employees had uninvested shares as a result of the Sony purchase. These shares would be received based on staying with the company for a certain number of years following the sale. But those shares reverted Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening to many. Oh, we're firing you. Oh, those shares that you might actually get some money out of? Oh, no, those come back to us. We're saving money. So, Bungie ball funnelers out there. Do you like having Bungie's balls in your hand? Because this is what they're doing to their own people. Yeah, I hope you feel really happy about yourself.
To avoid having to issue shares. And then, of course, how many people were actually technically laid off? How many were fired? Again, that last sentence, those shares revert to Bungie if you
I'm going to skip ahead.
Know who to choose if you were to go former Bungie employee. They said that this morning, my off day.
So, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is what people are experiencing. When I got there, news had already broken. People were crying at their desk, packing stuff up. I checked my email, got the unfortunate news. I wasn't even told in person. This person wasn't even told in person. You're gone. Ow. At least show some respect and dignity. If Pete Parson is out there tweeting saying, man, these are respectable people. They've done so much. We're so honored to have them. Blah, 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 blah. And then you have people like this. If they did so much work for you, they're respectable. Why did you treat them like trash? You couldn't even give them an in-person? God. I actively want the final shape to crash and burn. I know it's my money being thrown out there, but I want it to crash and burn. I want Bungie to be dissolved, and I want every last person that's worth a dang and even the people that are there to be pulled to other Sony companies or studios, and I want them to be used and respected. And I want, because usually what happens if Sony kicks the can of or any game company kicks the can of a studio, it's usually the leaders that get tossed out because they're not happy. And I hope that's what happens to Bungie. I hope the days of Bungie are done and over. I hope the can is kicked and Pete Parson gets thrown out the door like a trash can. And then the people, the developers, the real money makers, get pulled to other games and that they're respected. And the people who do actual work. I actively want Bungie to crash and burn. I actively want it to crash and burn. Because you have stuff like this. Destiny 2 player stunned. Bungie has laid off Michael Salvatore, its famed composer. Destiny. Rolk theme, right? Also, Halo. Hello? Wait, no. Yeah. Worked on Halo. And of course, Michael is a stand-up guy, right? He's trying to be honorable, say nice things. Obviously, if you say crap in the gaming company, you're not going to get hired, right? If he wants to continue his career, he's not going to sling mud. This is very corporate, obvious. It's like me if I left Walmart. If I want to not burn bridges, I'm not going to say what I really think. And that's what you have here. But the fact that they fired people, and it's obvious, it's very obvious. You're going to fire the people who've been there the longest, the people who are making the most money to save the most money, right? You are going to fire them first. That's why working at retail, it can never be a long-term job. It can never. You should never look at retail. And there's some people, I do it. You're one of the few ones. You're lucky because your job is probably going to be replaced by a robot sometime. So I would look at finding another job. And the musicians, apparently, they're being outsourced. The music is not even being made in-house. It's being outsourced. Probably for cheaper than what it would to pay this phenomenal musician to do beautiful music that we loved. So now that's going to make people think, oh, well, this is generic trash. Why do I care about it? And that's probably what's going to be in episodes. These musicians probably put their heart and soul into the final shape. And the episodes are probably going to be generic trash. No offense to the outsourced people, but you're a nobody to us, okay? You're a nobody. But this is it, man. This is what you get when you fondle the balls of a company and you don't criticize them. You don't speak with your money. They assume things are going to be great. If we put our foot down way back before the Witch Queen, we do not like this. The expectations would have been set a lot better for Lightfall. But Lightfall came out because they knew that they can milk as much money out of the community as they could. And they were expecting that we would be brain dead, which there are some that are, that we would be A-okay going into the next expansion. We would ask for no improvements. People wouldn't speak with their money or their time. People did. Granted, I have spoken with my time, not necessarily my money, but I have my time. I play a lot less, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy. But I'm going to Darth Counselor here. I'm going to continue to criticize, and I'm actively criticizing the brain-dead leadership at Bungie. I actively want Bungie to crash and burn. I want it to fall so far into the dumpster that it never resurrects again. I hope it does. I hope that PlayStation takes Destiny and does something new with it, and they burn Bungie to the ground. I hope all the lovely people there get moved and repositioned. Obviously, that's not going to be the case, right? Some people, but here, it's either that we rip the Band-Aid off and have it happen, or we have crap like this where people are surprised. At least if they know they're going to dissolve the company, the people get heads up, right? I want to have faith in PlayStation that they would do a little bit better than Bungie than last minute. Hey, Bungie, you're dead. Goodbye. But I could be wrong. Again, Darth Counselor here. I actively want the company to crash and burn at this point. We speak with our money and we don't do anything. It's not the leaders that hurt. It is the employees. So no matter what we do as a player base, they're going to be thrown under the bus. So I actively just want it to crash and burn, because then you get the trash that is Pete Parson, and he no longer has a job either. Like, I want him to be the captain on the Titanic. Instead of having a choice to leave, he's stuck on the ship. Like, there's no lifeboats. He has to go down with the ship, regrettably. But will that happen? Probably not. He will probably sacrifice as many bodies as possible to keep money in his pocket. Because remember, he really wants you to hire those people because they're phenomenal. Phenomenal. What a joke. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. This has been a React. Again, I've talked longer than Asteroid's video. It's also somewhat scripted. But I'm probably one of the biggest critics of Bungie's leadership. Crash and burn, baby. Crash and burn. Get Pete Parson out here. He's a dumpster fire, man. Get him out.